Hello everyone, this is NainaMD, Beverly Hills. Welcome to my show, The Fusion of Science and Beauty. And as you know, my passion is about integrative medicine, anti-aging medicine, and really how these are becoming so important in just treating people in general. We really need to know a lot more about this. And today is a little different because integrative medicine not only involves all the other things that I've been mentioning throughout the shows. It's the inside-outside concept, but there's another concept called laughter. And laughter comes right along with comedy, and I've got one of the most fabulous comedians with me. His name is Mike Marino, and he is here with me today. He is the Best Actor Clear Award winner. He has appeared on so many serials. His resume just goes on, but he is also known as New Jersey's bad boy. So, New Jersey's bad boy. Mike, how are you?
Well, thank you so much for having me on your show.
It's great to have you on the show.
Thank you very much.
And you know, the audience must be wondering, what does this have anything to do with health and wellness? And I really wanted to touch on that. I mean, I want to know more about you, and I'm sure the audience does too. Is like, how did you start your career and everything? But we really want to really get into today's show is really laughter is healing.
Well, that's one of the old adages that, you know, laughter is the best medicine.
Yeah.
And so, you know.
And we know that in many cultures, in Hawaii, there's that ha breathing. And part of that ha breathing is also when people met each other, and this is way back when, was you had to laugh. And laughing was the way you introduced yourself to each other. So it's laughter has been around for centuries, right?
Yes.
And so, first of all, you have to tell me about yourself because you've done so much. And how is it? How did you start?
Well, luckily for me, coming from the East Coast of New Jersey, being raised in an Italian family, we were laughing all the time because, you know, your mom talked with her hands going like this.
Yeah.
And your
everybody
father
gestures, right?
Big gestures, and it was all about fun, family, and food.
Yeah.
And so you were laughing all the time. And I didn't even know it was funny or crazy until I actually moved to Los Angeles when everybody kept saying to me, you Italian people from New Jersey, you're so funny. And I'm like, well, what's so funny about what I'm doing? I thought it was normal. I thought everybody acted like this. And I thought everybody grew up in the basement making macaroni and meatballs. When I came to California, like, no, we're not like that. And so that's actually what got me into stand-up comedy. I mean, I was born and raised acting. I just wanted to be a serious theatrical actor. I didn't even know I had a flair for comedy until I came to California, and everybody kept saying, you know, the way you talk, the way you express yourselves, it's so funny. Wow. And then when I started doing stand-up more and more, the fans make you keep going because you will have someone out of nowhere say to you, I'm going through so much. Thank God I watched you. Or I'm going through a divorce, or someone had passed away. I needed the laugh. And then you start realizing you're actually helping people, which keeps me going. Because if I know that I'm helping someone or a bunch of different people, it just keeps you going.
Is that with every show? People will come up to you and say something like that?
Luckily, yes. Wow. Every show.
Amazing.
Who's going through a divorce? Who just got in a car accident? Who just spent an hour in traffic? People come and watch the show and they go home with, what was I so angry about? Wow. And then they'll even look at me and go, I want to be like him.
It's almost like it's like a sudden release of just whatever negative emotions you had. Somehow laughter is so positive, it just kind of it supersedes everything.
It is. It might make somebody say, I don't know what I was so mad about. That guy was great. And they'll quote you, and they'll remember what you said, and they'll imitate you, which is the greatest compliment. The owner of the Laugh Factory in Hollywood is Jamie Masada, and he calls all his comedians doctors of the soul. So I'm a doctor, and I can help you with your soul through comedy.
Yeah. Do you sense it? Do you sense, of all the shows that you've done, okay, do you sense, because we're you know, when we got into this before the show too, we're into quantum physics. Quantum physics is all about, we're like ions, and there's like positive, there's negative, there's a lot of, you know, we're just really energy. We're just a source of energy. Having said that, have you ever gone into shows and just sensed the energy of the audience?
You know, sometimes you could feel so much energy from an audience, and you're saying to yourself, within seconds, this is going to be a great show. Yes, you can feel it.
Wow.
And then the reverse. You can feel the energy, and you're like, oh no, what's wrong with tonight? And why is it that way? And it might just be one person. And you could feel the energy coming from the person going, oh God, it's this guy on the left.
Wow.
And yeah,
so you're aware of this. You are, I mean, of all the shows you've done, you actually can sense that. You can feel that.
Yes, you know,
there's
so many different ways to do it too, because let's suppose you're in front of 1,000 people, and you can't see the majority of the people, but you can just feel something's not right. Maybe the joke you told the night before was fantastic, and all of a sudden this joke is not working tonight. And it can't be because of what you're doing, because you're doing the same thing, but there's people. And it might not be because they're not there to have fun, but something's wrong in their life and they brought it into the room. And now you feel it. Plus, you can see their face, too. Sometimes the face or the body posture could tell you, oh, God. Or, this is going to be great. One of the two. Wow. But, I do feel it. Sometimes I feel like I'm a doctor, too. Like, I feel like I'm Dr. Phil. Like, I could look at somebody and go, listen, you had a bad day. I could feel it. Or you're going through a divorce. Or you're not happy with, well, you're not making any money. Or you just lost your job. You can see it or feel it. And actually you can fix it. And then there's the people who have, let's say, a different kind of a worry in their life. And they bring that into the room. And it could be they're just not happy with themselves. So they try to ruin my performance. I could actually feel that.
Wow. And
then I want to say, hey, listen, you're not ruining it for me. You're ruining it for everybody else in the room. So maybe I try to change the course of that.
Wow, amazing, amazing. When you, of all the shows that you've done, what has been your memorable? What has been like one of your memorable events where you're saying it was just so much, where you could feel something that was just so strong, or just something memorable?
Well, you know,
some of your shows.
Luckily, there's a lot of different memorable shows. Hopefully, there's a memorable show every night you perform.
Absolutely.
But if I was to give you for instance, one just happened.
Yes.
Just happened.
Tell me about that.
There was a bunch of people in the front row who have never seen me live. They just know about my YouTube channel. So after they watch YouTube, they say, let's get tickets to go see Mike Marino.
Right.
So they've never seen it live, and since they only saw what was on the channel, they think that's all I do.
Right.
So now they're going to hear something completely different. So these people were laughing so hard. So hard. The girl fell off her chair. She spilled her drinks. The drink went into somebody else's pocketbook. And I actually said, okay, let's stop here for a minute because this girl's in pain. And once I said that, then everybody started laughing even harder because they think I planned it. But I didn't plan it because in my mind, I can see I'm actually hurting somebody to the point where she couldn't breathe.
Amazing.
So I feel great that I actually just made somebody laugh so hard they can't breathe.
Amazing.
But I had to stop so that she could catch her breath and we can go forward, which makes me look even better because now the audience is like, wow, that comedian just took a break because the girl can't breathe.
Amazing.
And that's a great feeling.
That's a great feeling. What about what are some of the serials that you've done, that you've been in?
Well, I've been doing television since I'm a kid.
Yeah.
I grew up doing television commercials, and when I got to California, I was on Party of Five, and then I was on a TV show, Becker, and Frasier. I was always doing sketches on The Tonight Show when Jay Leno had the show. So I would say every other week I was on The Tonight Show doing sketch comedy.
Amazing.
I recently just did a thriller, a movie called Criticized, and I play a detective looking for the murderer. There's no comedy in that, but I'm glad I get to do that.
What do you do when you actually do serious? When you do serious roles, how do you actually create that role? Because you've done so much comedy, how do you just simply change into a different person?
Yeah, well, I grew up in acting, and I'm a theatrically trained actor, so I just go back to my roots. Normally what I say is my stand-up performance is I'm acting, I'm playing the role of a comedian.
Yeah.
And I'm not Mike Marino, I'm New Jersey's Bad Boys. I was a different person. So I become somebody else, which is my therapy.
Got it.
So if I need therapy and I need some healing, I call upon myself.
Which getting to that, how do you, what do you do? Like, how do you start your day?
Well, I like to go to the gym, and I try to go every morning. I'm getting older now. I'm in my 50s, so it's hard.
When did you, let's talk about exercise. A lot of people, everyone's now exercising globally. It's such, everywhere I travel now, and as I lecture, I speak, there are developing countries that are having personal trainers coming to their homes. There's just such a push for exercise. When did you get into exercise? Were you athletic when you were, when you were younger? Tell us
Well,
about
I'd like
yourself.
to think I was athletic my whole life growing up.
Yeah.
But now being in my 50s, it's hard to get up in the morning and go to the gym. I
Yeah.
usually get home pretty late every night.
Yeah.
Unfortunately and
Yeah.
unhealthy-wise, I eat late at night and then I go to bed, which
Yeah.
is what I got to stop doing. But it's difficult.
So that's the one habit that it's hard to change because you're performing, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm
It's your
Italian.
schedule.
I want a nice slice of pizza and a cup of coffee, and then I go to bed, which is really not all that great for you. But I mean, that's what I got to
How
stop
long
doing.
have you done that for?
My whole life.
Oh,
I'm going
wow.
to get a slice of pizza on the way off this show.
Wow.
If I could find one.
Wow.
But yeah, I got to lighten up on the dairy.
Yeah.
But I like to just walk as much as I can, do
Yeah,
cardio
so-
as much as I can. I can't really lift weights or do heavy stuff anymore.
When did you stop lifting the weights?
Well, I try every once in a while, but I can't lift up things that are as heavy as I used to.
Yeah, yeah.
I really should be taking yoga. And I was actually doing a show for a company that was laughter and yoga together, and they were showing the people doing yoga how they need to laugh, but basically because it makes you breathe.
Yes,
so when
it
you're
makes you
laughing
breathe,
and you're
yeah.
smiling, you're breathing.
Yeah.
You know, and
So
when I
maybe
do
that's
yoga,
so maybe that's the thing. Laughter is such a is a form of exercise, really. Right?
It is.
When people.
when you're laughing, you're breathing deeper than I guess you normally would if you were in a bad mood.
Yeah.
So, and when people laugh, it makes me laugh. So then that's my exercise. And thank God for stand-up because that is my therapy. I can't wait to get on stage. I want to be on stage every night. I want to try something new out. I want to meet people, and it's fun.
See, I think that's the reason I'm asking you that is because I think people think that exercise is something that you have to go to a gym and you have to actually spend like 45 minutes to an hour. And what this research is showing is that you can do intermittent spurts. So if you can even do intense exercising and exercising different muscles. So laughter comes into that. You're just the deep breathing. There are so many illnesses that are actually helped. High blood pressure, depression. The list goes on and on in just terms of just the breathing, changing the way you're breathing. There's gurus in India that have their whole success in having people just their blood pressures go down, or people are just feeling so much better, or curing these ailments has been in teaching them how to breathe. So laughter, in a way, is a form of exercise, and that form of exercise is really the kind of breathing. You change your neurotransmitters, you change the way you're breathing, and that's how you get healthy.
It's very
right?
true. And if you're
Yeah.
laughing all the time, or at least you're in somewhat of a good mood, or you smile, it just does change the course of the day. I mean, it's very
Yeah.
difficult to do when you're in a lot of traffic and everybody looks like they're really angry and they're beeping the horn. But if you start laughing, your day would actually become better no matter what.
As a comedian, do you get very tuned to people's expressions?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. You look at people like, how are you not laughing? It's hilarious. But sometimes they don't.
Wow.
And then,
Amazing.
I recently, well, not recently, about a couple of years ago, was entertaining and traveling so much that I felt like there was so much pressure on me to be successful every night that I started to stress out so much, and I caused a problem in my stomach called diverticulitis.
Wow.
And it was so hard on me. You feel like you're being stabbed. And every time I went to go see a doctor, they said, you got too much stress in your life.
Well, I'm going to tell you something about diverticulitis too that you'll want to know. But we got to take a break.
Sure.
And we're going to be back with this most amazing guest, and we're talking about laughter. Laughter is healthy. We'll be right back. NainaMD, Beverly Hills, Fusion of Science and Beauty. Hello everyone, welcome back to my show, NainaMD Beverly Hills, Fusion of Science and Beauty. And I have with me the most amazing guest, topmost comedian, Mike Marino. And we were talking about laughter as a way of healing. And just touching on that subject, we were just talking about how you got stressed out, right? Because you just wanted to be just so good, and you had a condition called diverticulitis.
Yes.
Now, diverticulitis is inflammation of the colon, okay? And when there is sort of these out pockets, okay, the colon has weaknesses, and the weakness creates these little sort of like out pockets, okay? And when food goes in there and gets stuck, then it can create inflammation. And then that's what leads to a diverticulitis. If you don't have the inflammation and you just have that weakness, it's just called diverticulosis. So when it turns into an inflammation, that's what causes pain, and a lot of it is what, like you said, stress related. So I mean, this is a perfect example of how an illness is created due to stress, right?
Yes.
Right? Now, how did you, first of all, I want you to tell the audience, how did you, heal that? And what, were you given like medications or anything like that? And then I'll tell you what the alternative way, what in conventional in integrative medicine, what we do.
Well, when it first started happening and I had that stabbing feeling in my stomach, I thought that maybe I was just suffering from some kind of constipation or some kind of internal problem. I never even knew what diverticulosis was or diverticulitis.
Right.
But I couldn't cure it. And I was eating too much, and I was eating a lot of pastas and meatballs because I'm Italian, and we were sponsored by all these Italian delicacy places, and every night we had to go out with the sponsor and the restaurants and the food, and mind you, it's delicious, and you want it. I'm dying for it, the meats and the cold cuts, and I'm ready to eat right now because I'm talking myself right into wanting to have some food. In fact, let's just go get something. But anyway.
I'm going to burst your bubble on that in a minute.
Oh, no.
Yes, I am. I'm going to tell you some facts on that.
Well, I wanted to cure myself, so I saw some health doctors, and they were telling me the natural way to cure it, and I was drinking aloe vera juice, and I was drinking
really
apple cider vinegar, and I was trying some, but I would still find my way to cheese and pepperoni and something like this. So when all of a sudden I had 104 fever, and I went to see my doctor, and he said, your eye whites are yellow, you need to go to the emergency room. So I went to the emergency room, and that's when they said, you're having a bout with diverticulitis. So I stayed in the hospital for 5 days, and they were pumping me full of whatever it was, and it healed. But then the surgeon said to me, you're going to have to come back in a couple of months, and we're going to remove a piece of your colon. And I'm like, no, I'm going to heal this. So I went and found everything I could. I researched as much as I could about diverticulitis and how I would cure it.
So what are some of the things you did?
I ate a lot of salads, and I got rid of the pizzas.
So basically,
I lost a lot of weight.
Yeah. So what you did was you lowered the inflammation, and by doing salads, which was very high in a lot of these antioxidants, and they are anti-inflammatory. So that's really what you started to do. So getting back to bursting your bubble, so meats have something called arachidonic acid. In red meat, there is a lot of arachidonic acid, and it's very inflammatory. And in fact, when people take aspirin, you kind of lower those levels of arachidonic acid, but then aspirin can have other side effects. So a natural way is to say you shouldn't be doing more than 60 milligrams of arachidonic acid a day. And just to give you some idea, probably like 2 to 3 ounces of meat is let's say of a steak is more than 60 milligrams of arachidonic acid, 3 ounces. So if you limit yourself to, let's say, 3 ounces of like halibut, that's okay. That has less. So the point I'm trying to make is that you may like those things. You were probably doing you were doing like overdosing on arachidonic acid, probably. So that's what caused the inflammation. And then you didn't know how to mitigate, because a lot of times what I do is I recommend, and that's something that you can do when you actually go weak and you succumb to those urges, okay, and cravings. But what you can do is you take fish oils. So fish oils actually suppress the inflammation. So if you did go out and let's say you took like the deli or the people that you're having the most amazing meal, which you know is not the healthiest meal for you, it doesn't mean to do more of it, but it means that you can take like 2 or 3 grams of fish oil. and it will help suppress the inflammation. Or turmeric. So those are the things that can help suppress a lot of that inflammation. And then that way you can have, that if you did happen to take a lot of arachidonic acid or a lot of meat, then it's a way at least not to, to try to at least not to get sick. The other thing which I want to mention to you is and the audience just should hear this, is look, you searched your own ways, right, to heal yourself. So you embarked on your own journey.
Right.
You did. It wasn't your conventional doctor telling you that, right? And that's my point. Why is that? Why is it that we are not? Why is it that conventional medicine has become so archaic that everyone else has the patient or the client has become more educated and is now seeking to heal themselves, rather than going to a conventional doctor to heal them. They're going to the doctor in an acute situation. You were in pain, you didn't know what to do, so you went. But the minute you found that wait a minute, how could I possibly avoid surgery? I'm going to do and try to heal myself, right? So you went on that quest.
Well, now we have the ability to go on the internet and research.
But exactly, but you research it. Where did you find the research? You found things like diet things. You found maybe herbs. Did you do by the way, glutamine is a great thing. Aloe vera is a great thing. So, what else did you do?
Well, I was also watching and looking for things that I'm not supposed to have that could cause the inflammation other than the meats, like the popcorn and peanuts.
Because those are little things that can get trapped in, right?
Yeah, I'm a popcorn fiend. And once they said don't have popcorn, well, then I threw it all out of the house because I don't ever want to go through that pain again.
Yeah.
But, there was a time where it got even worse. Yeah. And I went to go see a gastroenterologist for a colonoscopy. And sadly, they woke me up during the colonoscopy and said, you're going to emergency surgery. Wow. And then but the greatest thing about actually having the surgery is I lost so much weight. Yeah. And then I was overeducated on what I had. And I wish I had stayed on that, because once the surgery happened, I could eat a brick. Yeah. And it was like being a 21-year-old boy. But I got to go back to eating.
You got to go back to
better again, because I started getting a little sloppy, let's say. Yeah. And it's hard when you're a comedian and you're traveling. So I'm eating in an airport. I'm eating in a hotel. It's not like I'm home making stuff.
So this gets to a really important question then. How do we, if someone like you is already having a struggle, what about the everyday person? They're struggling. They've got stuff happening. They've got meetings. They've got so much going on in their lives. What do you think needs to happen in our society in order for us to have better food intake? Where do you think we need to start?
Well, before this all happened to me, I was never in a health food store. Yeah. I didn't even know that there was a really great health food store to go to where you get educated and you could ask somebody working in there, hey, listen, it's not all just about stuff that doesn't taste good. There are good tasting foods in here. Yeah. And I went and I learned. I learned about doing a colon cleanse, and I learned about having gluten-free pasta, which my mother wanted to kill me for buying, but I bought it. Yeah. And, some sauces that didn't have so much acid in it that I wasn't getting the heartburn.
There you go.
Even times of day to eat, how much to eat, and, how sometimes a lot of eating is psychological.
And that made a huge difference. That made them impacted,
I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm doing pretty good.
So this is what your quest, and how much of it did you learn? How much of it did you learn on your own, and how much of it did you learn in a conventional setting, hospital setting, or whatever? Was it 50-50? Was it what was it?
Of course it's 50-50, and very luckily I had two really great surgeons. Yeah. And they explained everything to me before I had anything done. Yeah. And the gastroenterologist, who's actually a famous gastroenterologist in New Jersey, he worked on a lot of stars and rock stars, and he was the one who actually guided me through everything, because the first thing he said to me was, we want to avoid surgery at all costs. And this is what you have to do. Go to this health food store, stop taking that drug, take this herb. And he did mention, of course, the fatty oils, fish oils,
right,
and stuff like that. And then, of course, the
surgeon.
surgeon.
So he already knew about integrative, right?
Yeah.
That's really cool.
They weren't really pushing the knife like you would think. They were kind of like, let's be conservative.
Yeah, yeah.
But then I couldn't save myself, so then the last resort was surgery. So now I tell everybody, watch what you eat.
See?
Watch your show. Get educated on health. And
by the way, what's your website?
I am at MikeMarino.net. Send everybody over.
Yeah, believe me, I think they go over and they're going to laugh.
You will laugh at MikeMarino.net. You can watch my YouTube channel, which is Mike Marino Live on YouTube. And of course, I have Instagram and Twitter and all this social media.
Yeah.
It's
you
all
do it
Mike
every day?
Marino
Are you
Live.
posting every day?
Oh, yes. I post every day. We're going to post this, and we're going to post the traffic outside. We're going to post. Well,
oh, you heard about the traffic.
If I could find.
By the way, you don't want to know what he did. What? There was a lot of laughter coming. Laughter, would I say?
Oh my
coming
God.
before the show and beating the traffic.
Well,
it's horrendous, isn't it? It was horrendous.
It's pretty tough down there.
Yeah. So, listen, I thank you so much for coming on my show. By the way, I have to ask you one more thing before. What advice would you give to the audience in terms of just your experience and your own journey with your health in terms of staying healthy? Give me 3 pearls that you would, whether it has to do with diet, whether it has to do with anything. What are your 3 health tips to the audience before you leave on the show today?
Of course, I'm not a professional like you.
It doesn't matter.
But
this is your opinion. It's your own health tips. We're not. We know. They all know that.
Try your best to find something funny in everyday life, whether it be a food, a store, traffic. There is something funny about it, and once you find something funny about it, at least you'll get to breathe and be like, "Oh my God, I don't know what I'm so upset about." Right? Yeah. Try to eat better, and stay away from the foods that I grew up on, because they're not always that healthy. Okay. Mom, I hope you're not watching.
Okay. Okay, number 3.
Exercise. And my favorite exercise is just going to the park and taking a long walk.
Yeah, yeah. I agree with you. I love to walk.
Or at the beach.
Yeah, I love to walk. Listen, thanks so much.
Thank
Again,
you.
give one more time the name of the website.
MikeMarino.net.
Okay, and how do you spell Marino?
Marino. Marino, like in Dan Marino, only I am Mike Marino.
Hey, thanks again. This has been a great show. NainaMD Beverly Hills, Fusion of Science and Beauty. We'll be back next week with another great show.